to the Monday, December 19th episode of Morning Coffee and Chat. Man, I didn't know if I was going to get on here this morning. No idea if I was going to. The wife was up a dozen times on Saturday night, sicker than all get out. And we were both up and down last night. We woke up this morning. You want to talk about feeling like fresh hell. Her and I both felt so bad. We both felt like, well, we felt like horse dookie dropped at the beginning of a parade. At the end of the parade, I believe stomped something comes into play here. Let me go and get this thing all synced in here together. We can chat in. Oh, goodness gracious sakes. But we're alive and kicking. I originally canceled the stream for this morning because when I woke up, I felt like fresh hell. And the longer I sat here, the more coffee I drank, the better I felt. And I thought, nope, we're going to go live. It is the least I can do for everybody. Let me go on and share this puppy out real quick. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out this screen setting thing so I can quit having to take my taskbar off and put it back on again. I even got the taskbar locked. And every time I turn this thing on, there is no taskbar. Oh, good morning, Chris. Good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. I am doing so much better. My goodness gracious. Good morning, Jan. Good to see you this morning. Guys, we are down to 6 days. 6 days till Christmas. 5 days till Santa makes that legendary run. Good morning, Squirrel. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well over there across the pond, my friend. Oh, goodness gracious. I feel so much better, though. I don't know what's, I give the wife our last COVID test this morning before she called into work. I mean, y'all know, you guys have got familiar enough over time with my family to know my wife never calls off work unless she's 2 steps away from death's door. And I'll tell you what, when she got up in the morning, she could barely stand, let alone walk to the bathroom. And, we both woke up, finally got out of bed about 15 to 5. I helped her get to the bathroom, got her back in bed, give her the COVID test. It came back clear. So this is where I'm going to spend the majority of my day unless she messages me and says I need help. Yeah, Tony, you by God hit it right on the head, bud. You hit the nail right on the head. This is where I'm going to stay to keep from getting sick. I already was feeling it this morning. Luckily, I'm not feeling it now. I have got to go out and grab what few little gifts I can grab for the Toys for Tots, and I did decide to get one item for a young man who wants to become a game reviewer for YouTube. He did not have a TV, so I didn't have a lot of money to spend, but by God, I was able to get a very, very small, cheap model TV for him to start practicing on his games and stuff like that, so he could become the next massive game reviewer on the platform. So, well, I found a small TV. I haven't got it yet. I found a small TV. But, still. Let me see here. I'm sitting here not even reading the chat. Good, although a bit disappointed in the new Suburban. Is this the Suburban that you got from your daughter and son-in-law? Their old one? I know you was looking forward to figuring out which one you was going to use for parts, yours or theirs, and which one you was going to make your regular driver, yours or theirs. So, flu going around Ohio really bad. I've been sick for 2 weeks. Man, there's been a lot of people been getting it. You guys all know Wookie. He comes in here, KG's boyfriend. He's been sick for like 6 days. I've seen him 2 days ago on one of Candy's streams, and he literally looked and sounded like stomped poop. That's all there was to it. He is just, and he's already not healthy, so he kind of worries me. Um, I've been trying to, keep tabs on him to figure out what's going on, but yeah, it's this new flu, man. It is kicking people's butt like crazy. The wife slipped on ice yesterday. Now she's, oh my God, squirrel. I hope she's all right. I hope she didn't hurt anything. I had to take the trash down this morning, and there's Wook right there. Hope you're feeling better, bud. I was just talking about you. But, yeah, I had to take the trash down this morning, and I told the wife, I said, man, it's a good thing that I took the trash down this morning instead of last night. And she said, why? I said, because everything's frozen over this morning. It just slid right down the hill and out to the road. I didn't have to tug it, pull it, nothing. I said, quite honestly, I could have of the thing and just stood behind it and used it as a sled and just slid down the hill to where we put the trash at. Well, a lot of rather minor stuff. My old Brick Suburban is in better shape. Suburban starting to eat it alive. Oh, wow. Well, everything works except the rear end. I'm getting ready to call my doctor now. Good man, bud. Good man. You need to get better. It's been like 6 days, dude. My wife's got it now. I thought she was giving it to me. That's why I canceled the stream at like 6:30 this morning, and then I sat here for like 20 minutes, half hour, and I thought, you know what? We're going live. I'm not letting nothing keep me down. I have a cough. Hell, every time I get coffee, it makes my lungs hurt, my ribs hurt, back hurt, have bronchitis. Yeah, good idea. Definitely call your doctor. You're are you're already, not healthy. So taking a risk on something like the big C or this new flu that's going around, definitely not wise to take the risk with that. One for my daughter looks better, but it's going to need a fair bit of fixing. Debating on getting Netflix today. 1923 came out last night, and that 90s show starts tonight. Hmm. Wow. Netflix is good. Netflix is good. The only problem we have with Netflix here is a lot of times you lose, for some reason, it loses signal. We'll be watching a movie or something like that. We'll get 20 minutes into it, all of a sudden, it'll freeze or it'll start to, reload, and it'll only get up to about 30% and then stop. But that's the only problem we have with Netflix. Um, but the 4x4 works, so it will do through the winter. Good, good. Oh, has it been weeks? I did not know. I did not know. I thought it's only been like 5 or 6 days you've been sick. Calling now. 1923 is the prequel to call. Yeah, yep. I've seen the advertisements for it. Wait till hey fish. Wait till your taste goes away. I'm just getting over. Was sick for 15 days. My God. Wow. That's terrible. That is terrible. I was wondering how you were doing down there. I know that I know a big chunk of the country is going to be really, really cold. They're calling for snow and like teens for wind chills for a big chunk of the eastern part of the country this week with this new storm coming in out of Canada. Depending upon where the warm front from the Gulf hits. If it hits high in the plains, it's going to push all the snow and cold weather up my direction. If it hits lower, it's going to affect Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, everything. So I have Paramount Plus and Discovery. I can find what I want to watch. I stay in my garage, avoid people and their illnesses as much as possible. It's been cool for weeks now. Snowed here for 3 days. More coming Thursday. Yeah, we've been having flurries from this last storm that came through for the last 4 days, 5 days, something like that. Tomorrow is supposed to be the last day that we have flurries in the forecast, and then Thursday we're supposed to get hit. And they're talking, like I said, depending upon where that warm front hits, it could be up to a foot of snow if it hits low in the country. If it hits up high in the country, we could get feet of snow. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Um, we're supposed to get hammered like frozen hell Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's how it is for us. 16 here this morning. Put the heater in the coop when we cleaned it yesterday. Good idea. Good idea. Chickens warm well in the oven. Her chickens only go in the oven when they decide to be stubborn and quit laying eggs. Then they become very well associated with dumplings. Good morning. Good morning, Lady C. Good to see you, dear. I feel like Christmas. Jay's not looking forward. No, I'm sure this very last week of working before Christmas, he is going to be busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. So, oh, goodness gracious sakes. Hey guys, real quick too, I had a chance to catch up on a little bit of the news from the last 24 hours this morning. Um, for our friends up in Canada, um, you're in our prayers and everything. There was a shooting. I believe they said 6 people were killed in Ontario province um, within the last, I think, 12 hours, which is very, very, very rare. There's not been a shooting in Canada in 2 years. And somebody walked into a condominium late yesterday or early during the night, and I guess just opened fire and um, well, sealed the fate that there's going to be 6 families out there that don't have their family members with them on Christmas. Also, sometime during the night, a flight left Phoenix, Arizona, headed for Hawaii. And they had already been on the plane for about 5 hours. They were only a short time from landing and hit some kind of massive turbulence, which literally threw people out of their seats up into the ceiling, broke ceiling panels, um, flung people into the walls and stuff. They said the plane started shaking and then all of a sudden just dropped. And when it dropped, it threw people up into the ceilings and into the walls, over seats. Um, they said that when the plane did land, they wound up treating over 30 people. Six were in the hospital with serious injuries. So once again, our thoughts and our thoughts and our prayers and stuff go out to the people on that airline, and hopefully they all make a good recovery, a quick recovery, and get to be home. Well, and see, Tony, they had already done the, you know, you may remove your seatbelts. That's a clear flight all the way to Hawaii. They had already been on the plane for over 5 hours. So they were just cruising along, and just all of a sudden the plane started to shake really bad and dropped without warning. So, I mean, you know that people. One lady said she did have her seatbelt on, and I think she was the only one in the cabin that still had her seatbelt on. But she said, yeah, people just flew everywhere, started screaming. They had no clue what was going on. So. I'll be alone for most. I will be all alone for the most part of Christmas. Why are you gonna be alone for, Tony? Does your wife have to work, and kids not coming over and stuff? This morning they said they didn't know if the killer lived in the condo. Yeah, yeah, I hadn't heard anything either, whether or not he lived there or not. That's why I don't fly anymore. Too many scary movies. Yeah, I used to love to fly, but anymore, and they still say, even with all these accidents and stuff that you hear on planes, it's still the safest way to travel. I think about it this way, I've been in two really bad car accidents in my life, and no one lost their lives. Our car never hit a mountain, never fell out of the sky, never fell into the ocean. So I'm saying driving is probably going to be my safest. Yeah. The guy in Canada was shot by police and killed. He was shot by police and killed. And like me better than anyone else anyway. We all know that, Tony. We all know that. That's why you won't give anybody your address. We can come and visit you at the homestead because, well, you don't like people. Some of some of the some of the most important people in your life have four legs. Good morning, Ty. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well this morning. Hey, let those girls know that I have it on good authority that Santa Claus is going to be sending them a message probably Thursday. So, just let them know that they may be getting a video from Santa on Thursday. Um, so, yeah. To be honest, I don't know the address. Last time we flew was when Ashley was 3 years old. On my way back to Cincy. The plane was shaking. Never want to fly again. And see, what's really sad is some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen was out of the window of a plane. When I moved to Texas back in 90, 97, 98, we got over Oklahoma, and there was an absolutely beautiful storm that was off in the distance, and it looked like an hourglass. I mean, you had the big cloud, and then what we see from the ground, and then up above the cloud, it came up like this, and all you seen was lightning just everywhere inside that hourglass, just constantly. It never stopped moving. And I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful. I never would have known that the lightning never stopped moving above the clouds if I wouldn't have been above the clouds to see it. The current given address is at the southwest corner of the property. Hey, Justin, good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well this morning. Cabin is on the southeast corner. That makes sense. Called the doctor. That was a bomb test? Oh, no wonder it kept moving then. I would have never guessed. We saw a beautiful storm when we was on Pikes Peak. That's someplace I've always wanted to go. Pikes Peak. They said I may have pneumonia. They want me to go get chest x-rays. Good idea. Good idea. You can never lose with chest x-rays. With the new 911 addressing system, the address ain't correct. I gotcha. I gotcha. That makes sense. What are you doing sitting clear over there? Come over here and be seen. Called the doctor. They said it may. I might have pneumonia. They want me to go get chest x-ray. Yeah. Been to Pikes with Sasquatch researcher friend of mine back in '05. Beautiful. Unless they missed something like they did on my chest x-ray. Well, I mean, your chest is so thin, Tyler, that, you know, technically, we could put a bright light behind you and read a comic book through you. So, yeah, that's probably why they missed stuff. Oh, when you was fluffy. You was fluffy? Oh, that's right. You told me you was fluffy at one time. I don't believe it. I mean, I've never seen photo evidence of you ever weighing more than like 115 pounds. I mean, you know, I'm always the first one to tell you, bud, 2 more pounds, you're going to fall through your own butthole and hang yourself. And, I mean, I'm sticking with that now, even as much as you eat. I think the next time you come here, I'm literally just going to sit on the back of your head and put your face down in noodles and mashed potatoes because, yeah. I love x-rays. Stand me in front of this board. Go put on body armor and hide behind a lead glass wall. No. Yep. Hey, Richie. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well today. You guys getting pounded by white stuffy fluff, white stuffy fluff, white fluffy stuff over there on the other side of the lake, Richie? Oh yeah, yeah, Tony. Yeah, X-rays are perfectly safe. You have absolutely nothing to worry about, and you get enough of them, you no longer need to take a flashlight when you go outside at night because you emit this pretty light green glow. It's magical. It's a Christmas miracle. Yeah, it's supposed to be heading our way next couple days. So it's actually probably a good thing that Jan and Jay did not come to Michigan to spend Christmas with us because they would probably wind up staying till after New Year's. And I'm sure Jay probably does not have that much vacation time saved up, and if he does, he wants to save it for vacation, not being snowed in the Midwest. Pounded by white fluffy stuff and yeah, butthead laugh. Going out today and tomorrow, then we'll stay home. Oh yeah, definitely fish. Definitely. To me, that is Christmas. That's Christmas in the way I love it. I don't care if anything else goes right, as long as I have a little bit of snow on Christmas. And that's the whole reason I didn't stay in Texas. I'll be honest with you. I went 3.5 years with no snow. 65 degrees on Christmas Day, 65 to 68 degrees um, January and February. I wanted to see snow again. And I didn't want to drive clear across the state to where the ski resorts are at to see it. I don't know what's dinging here. I'll check in a second. Back in the. Hey, Rusty, good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing good this morning. Bring that off there real quick. Back I used to use X-rays in department stores to size shoes. Wow. Now I've never heard of that before. Oh, we'd love to be snowed in with you guys. It would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool to have adopted mom and dad here for uh, for Christmas. But yeah, I'd hate for poor Jay to have to call in every day. We're still in Michigan with 4 feet of snow on the ground or more. I'm in a wheelchair, so if the snow is more than 2 inches, I'm snowed in. Ouch. Need to get you one of those really cool, impressive, those newfangled electric wheelchairs where you can pull the wheels off. See, I know a little girl up in Midland, Michigan that's never been able to walk, and she started off in a normal wheelchair. As she hit her late teens, early 20s, her doctor give her one of those full mobility deals, and it actually has like tank treads on it, and it's got a, how can I describe it? She straps into this thing, and the seat lifts so she can actually be standing up while it's rolling around. She goes out and does Ren fairs, pirate festivals, all kinds of stuff in this tank. And it goes through mud, it goes through snow. I think the base of it is like 8 inches off the ground, so she can go through like shallow puddles and stuff like that. She loves it. I think it cost her family like 10 grand or something like that. But It's a very, very impressive piece of machinery. I've been on live chat on Messenger with her, and she'll be standing there in her room, all strapped into this thing. She's got like the little bike seat under her butt, and she'll be rolling around her room, standing up, getting things off her dresser and stuff like that. So, um, I'm not griping about upcoming snow. I did say it was fine out of snow on Christmas Eve, gone by the 26th, but a day or two early is okay. Gay's FedEx driver, a few feet of snow shouldn't be no problem. Oh, heck no. Well, it just depends. Around here, they have a really bad habit of closing highways and stuff, especially when it's blowing really bad. I seen, where's she at? I know I seen her a second ago. Oh, she's down there. Hey, KG, good to see you. Hey, Squatch. Um, Big Red is a bit under the weather. I'm not taking her. I'm taking her to get checked out tomorrow morning. Get some change for your wheels. There you go. Never said before. I tried to get Tank Tread Kind, was going to paint it green and put fake rotary cannon on the side and G.I. Joe logo. How Duke gets around since his back injury. Yo, Joe. That truck will go anywhere. Thinking about getting chains for it. I lived for 10 years with two-wheel drive, 1992 Chevy. Never got stuck. I was the same way with my Chevy, man. Back when I had it, I used to drive around South Bend, Indiana, and up into Michigan and shovel driveways and stuff. And yeah, I never had a problem with my Chevy. Get the spiked wheels. We have to go down a hill to get anywhere, so we definitely need four-wheel drive vehicles. Then 8 Plus with the Suburban, it's fantastic. It's oh yeah. Insurance won't pay for the tread type. I know, and that is really, really sad that they just want you to pretty much sit at home and be an invalid, not be able to go out and get your own mail, not be able to get to your vehicle to go to the store, nothing. It's really sad that they expect people to compromise their freedom. It's I'll never understand insurance companies. That's why I make fun of them all the time. To be honest, I do do not drive in places don't like. I don't think I can get a horse and sleigh. Dude, I wished. I wish I had someplace. Don't think for a second when we have days like the last couple days, especially this morning where everything is covered in ice. Do not think for 1 second I wouldn't run to the grocery store with a horse and sleigh. We have enough Amish people around here. We actually have an iron hitching post in the parking lot of our grocery store and out at our farmers market as well. So do not think for a second I would not hitch up the horse, take my sleigh, and go to the grocery store and stuff. If I could get the tread type, I could go back out fossil and artifact hunting. I miss my hobbies. I know exactly how you feel. Insurance companies are there to make money. They really honestly are. They really honestly are. Every once in a great blue moon, you'll run across a decent insurance company. But like I said, that's why I like to make fun of them. That's why a lot of times in the, especially these Christmas videos and stuff like that, when I do the little commercial things at the beginning of it, I'll make fun of insurance companies because, well, every day they give you, brand new things to make fun of. Oh man. But yep, guys and gals, Christmas is 6 days away. 5 days until Santa makes his historic trip. Of course, Thursday, our last video of the week before the big Christmas Eve um, present delivery thing here at the house with me and Saint Nick. But Thursday's going to be a really cool video. Um, I've actually got a video rolling up of the history of candy canes, and we take a trip with some friends of ours named Bill and Lisa down to Disney World, and they are certain days of the year during Christmas season. Um, Disney World since 1968 has made handmade pulled candy canes. And we actually got a chance to get back inside the shop to watch them making them. So, gonna be very, very interesting. I'll force you to buy the product. Mutual of Omaha's good. Martin Perkins and Jim told me. Mutual of Omaha, yeah, my mom and dad have got Blue Cross. They love Blue Cross. They got Blue Cross through their insurance guy when they still lived in Indiana before they retired, and they love it. They love it. Within a day of calling them and needing something, there's been a Blue Cross agent at their front door. Take care of it, get the payout done really quick, um, whether it be house damage, whether it be physical, whatever. So, hey Jay, good to see you, bud. Next 6 days, and he doubled toothpicks for me. I have the next 6 days, and he doubled toothpicks for me. Jay just called and said he has 86 deliveries, not counting pickups, and is driving an hour and 15 minutes for his first stop. Jeez, criminy. Wow. You can say, Jay, most of us are adults. Seems like all the Christmas candy shrunk. Fish, I noticed that the other day when I was looking at candy canes out here at the dollar store. That's where we normally go to get our boxes of candy canes to put on the tree and stuff like that. And I was really, really amazed how much smaller. I mean, 15, 20% smaller than they used to be. It's, yeah, I can definitely, yeah. He won't be home till late tonight. I mean, hell, yeah. I mean, that's hour and 15 minutes for his first stop. Kind of makes you wonder how that company stays in business. All the gas they use. Saw barbecue brisket and sardine flavored candy canes yesterday. My dad was always a sardine fan. I've never been. Brisket, I didn't get fat eating veggies. That's for damn sure. Love me a good brisket. I think I just threw up in my mouth a little. My dad was always a sardine and mustard sauce fan. Us kids would sit around on Sunday night watching the wonderful world of Disney on TV and eat ice cream while my dad sat there and took a little fork and was picking his sardines out of the can. Always knew there was something off about that guy. Eating cold fish and mustard sauce. I think my grandma dropped him on his head, and when she bent over to pick him up, she kicked him across the floor. Ooh, sardines, Jack, no thanks. My whole family ate sardines, none for me. I don't eat bait. That's exactly how I feel about it. That's exactly how I feel about it. To me, they're just one step up from minnows. I mean, to me, it only makes sense to pop open a can of those, wash the mustard sauce off of them, and then take them out fishing. Brisket, on the other hand, was the final part of a cow God designated or that God designed to create perfection in food. My wife is not a brisket fan, and I really want a smoker. I mean, that's my thing. That was something we did every Sunday during the summer when I was in Texas. Is all of us guys got together. You guys remember the TV show King of the Hill? That was my neighborhood that I originally lived in when I moved to Texas. We would get home from work, we would all pop a beer and go out and stand, except it was a chain link fence. But we would stand out there. There was like 6 of us. And we would stand out there and drink Lone Star beer until our girlfriends or wives or whatever yelled out the door and said, "Hey, y'all, dinner's ready." Unless we were grilling, and we'd all stand along the grill. But every Sunday we pulled out the smoker and put a brisket in it. And it was pretty much a friend getting together thing. We'd have like 4, 5, 6 families over, and we would sit there and have tater salad, bean salad, brisket. One of the girls would make um, boiled taters. Um, they'd take some drippings off the brisket, and they'd make gravy, homemade gravy to go over the taters and stuff. I kind of miss that, especially because down there, hell, you could buy a 7 or 8 pound brisket. Then you come back up here to the Midwest, and the biggest thing you could find is just a couple pounds. Well, don't say that shit around a Texan. Like so I told him, you better kiss me then. Yeah, really. Mackerel and sour cream. Yum. Ew. I don't know. I can't knock that till I try it. All right, here we go. Rusty has fired in today in history, guys. 1776, Thomas Paine publishes his first American crisis essay beginning, "There are the times that try men's souls." 1777, Washington settles his troops at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania for the winter. Wanted to build a smokehouse. Good idea. I think a smokehouse would be real handy, especially the way you love to hunt. You stand there and say, "Yep." Nope. Yep. I was more of the Dale Gribble group, or part of the group. "I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy." 1795, first state appropriation of money for road building in Kentucky. 1823, Georgia passes first U.S. state birth registration law in the U.S. We have huge briskets in the stores here. I miss a big brisket. 1828 report by U.S. Vice President John C. Calhoun defending the rights of states to nullify federal laws is presented to the South Carolina legislature, but it takes no action. Gotta go, got stuff to do today later. All right, Ty, you take care of yourself, bud. Have a good day, and we'll chat with you later. 1842, U.S. recognizes independence of Hawaii. 1843, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens is published, 6,000 copies sold. It's kind of hard to believe. 1843, that story was published, and there have been what, 14 versions produced for the movies and television. It's one of the most popular Christmas stories ever. (1854), and believe it or not, and very few people know this, but A Christmas Carol was not Dickens' first Christmas story that he had written. That was actually like his fourth. But the other ones nobody liked. Then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, he had a dream and came up with A Christmas Carol. And here it is, 180 years later, still popular. 1854, Allen Wilson of Connecticut patents sewing machine to sew curving seams. Accumulating snow, 45-mile-an-hour plus winds, minus 20 wind chill. That sounds like what they're talking about for us. 1859, grading started for Market Street Railroad in San Francisco. 1861, Battle of Blackwater, American Civil War. 1862, skirmish at Jackson-Salem Church, Tennessee. 1870, after 31 days at sea in a small boat, William Halford and 3 others reached the Isle of Kauai to seek help for the shipwrecked USS Saginaw. 1871, Albert L. Jones of New York City patents corrugated paper. He's making a social statement with A Christmas Carol. He most certainly was. He most certainly was. 1887, Jake Kilrain and Jern Smith fight 106-round bare-knuckle draw. Wow. 1891, first Negro Catholic priest ordained in the U.S., Charles Uncles in Baltimore, Maryland. 1903, Williamsburg Suspension Bridge opens between Brooklyn and Manhattan. It's a pack of dogs' house with extra straw later. Good idea. Good idea. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do with 2 little kittens to make sure that they don't freeze to death at night. 1907, 239 workers died in a coal mine explosion in Jacobs Creek, Pennsylvania. 1910, first U.S. city ordinance requiring black and white residential areas in Baltimore. We put extra straw bedding in the coop yesterday. Always a good idea. I'm here to tell you guys there is nothing in the world as traumatizing to a small person as watching a family pet that normally lives outside, and a winter breed at that. Our dog was a Spitz, miniature husky kind of thing. And it got so cold one winter. My dad was out plowing our driveway and looked up by the garage, and understand there we had a great big furnace in the garage my dad left on all the time because that's where my Fairlane was kept, and he did a lot of work out there. But we had the big sliding doors that met in the middle behind the center column, so there was always heat pouring out that crack between those doors, and that's where the dog would sleep at night. And the wind got so cold, his nervous system froze up while he was laying there. My dad parked the truck in the middle of the drive, went and grabbed him, brought him in the house, and he was already gone. And he had just been running around not 20 minutes earlier. So, believe you me, there is nothing as traumatizing to a child as basically watching your dog freeze to death laying in a 70-degree house. 1918, Robert Ripley begins his Believe It or Not column in the New York Globe. I read better the dog's Saturday, but below 0 temps. Yeah, exactly. I have yet to lose a dog to cold. Never seen anything like it in my life up until that point, and I've never seen anything like it since. But we had a huge well house where our sump pump and our water purifier and everything was in the well, and we had this huge well house above it, and that's where the dog slept at. And we always put straw down for him and everything. But because my dad was outside, he come out of the well house. Now, like I said, when he got cold, he knew he could run up there to the garage doors and lay right there and have 80-degree heat pouring out between those doors at him. But just that 30-yard run in those wind chills between the shed and the garage, as soon as he laid down, the vet said his nervous system completely froze up. There's a reason I buy dog houses that are tight fits. Yep, I got up. I got up this morning, like I said, and I helped the wife to the bathroom and back in bed, and I took the cats out. I let the cats out of the bathroom, took them out to feed them, and I looked up in the window, and there was little Kenny, which we found out, um, yeah, 2 days ago that Kenny's actually Kindle. Um, what my daughter mistook as um, a boy, I think its penis froze off, um, but Kenny is a little girl. So I look up and there is Kendall in the window just staring in. So, of course, I go over, let her in, feed her, feed her wet food with the other two cats, our house cats, and she's in here sleeping on the couch with Grandma right now. So, you have to. Now, see, that's the problem. That's the problem, Tony, is she's not ours. And we can't afford to keep her in the house. We can't afford to get her fixed. We can't afford the extra food. To get the cat fixed here, to get George fixed was almost $300. Um, and we had adopted George. But to get her fixed was almost $300. We can't afford that with Kindle. There's just no way. But this is what happens when irresponsible people are allowed to have animals. She actually belongs to our neighbors, and her brother adopted us. Now the mother has gone off and had more kittens, and we only see her once or twice a week. She comes over to get petted once in a while, then vanishes again for 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, it's. But Ralph's fixed, George's fixed. So as long as something good, positive, and nice happens before she goes into heat the first time, we'll be lucky. Let me see here. 1919, American Meteorological Society is founded. 1920, first U.S. indoor curling rink opens in Brookline, Massachusetts. 1928, first autogyro flight in the U.S. 1930, James Weldon Johnson resigns as Executive Secretary of the NAACP. 1933, Electric Home and Farm Authority, Inc. authorized. 1941, U.S. Office of Censorship created to control info pertaining to World War II. 1942, Robert Stroud, convicted murderer, transferred to Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, where he becomes known as the Burden Man of Alcatraz. 1948, eighth largest snowfall in New York City history, 15.3 inches. This dog is fixed. The male will be in the spring, I think. Don't want a bunch of puppies. I don't blame you. Animals are expensive. That's for sure. My wife, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, those of you that have cats, but cat food has become this year's toilet paper. Um, Steph and my buddy Mike have been looking for over a week and a half for cat food. And the wife just happened to find 2 bags of cat food at our local Tractor Supply and picked them both up. So, but we've been basically out of dry cat food for almost a week and a half. We've been giving them a portion of what they normally get, and believe you me, they're starting to show it. Little grouchy bastards. Let me see here. 1949, WJW TV Channel 8 in Cleveland, Ohio begins broadcasting. There's cat food here. Man, not ours. Since Ralphie got that intestinal infection um, 2 years ago, our doctor told us about this 9 Lives brand that helps to fight the intestinal infection. It cleans out whatever caused it. But that's the brand we've been using since then. It's not expensive, but certain brands of dog food and every brand of dry cat food, except for like the cheap stuff, everybody's buying. Everybody's buying it up the sec. It's kind of like brass was um, here a few years ago with the shooting supplies. Every single place that sold brass, people were waiting in the parking lot when the trucks arrived, and they would get those trucks unloaded on the floor, and people would come in and buy every kind of brass there was. We had a group in South Bend, Indiana, that they were a group of businessmen, and I think there was either 6 or 7 of them. But every time a truck would arrive at a shooting supply place, Dave's Sporting Goods, anything like that, They would go in there and buy every single brass shell that came in on that truck every week. Got one last thing. I have to go to purchase cat food. I have a Chevy auto ship for the dogs and cat. Cats will eat you. Now, with Ralph, we pretty much worry about him licking you to death. 1950, General Eisenhower named NATO commander. 100 pounds a month. Yeah, shipped in. That's a smart way to do it if you can afford it. 1953, KFYR TV Channel 5 in Bismarck, North Dakota begins broadcasting. 1955, Carl Perkins records Blue Suede Shoes. There were a lot of hoarding, reloading supplies to resell. Yeah. I hoard for my own use. If the weather gets bad, I'll have chickens feed shipped to the house. Yeah. Always a smart thing to do. Always a smart thing to do. In 1958, first radio broadcast from space. U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower's Christmas message to all mankind, America's wish for peace on earth, goodwill to men everywhere. Around bucks and reloading supplies. If I were to sell them today, that's a lot of reloading supplies. 1960, fire aboard USS Constellation, under construction at Brooklyn. 50 die. 1960, Frank Sinatra's first session with Reprise Records. Ring-a-ding-ding. Well, it was my intent to get enough to last me the rest of my life. And I don't blame you for that. As hard as that stuff was to find there for a while, now you can go into any of our sporting goods stores and just find it plentiful. Nobody's interested in it anymore. You should do half and half dry food with water. Let it soak. Cat, dog, and your cat and dog will last twice as long. You know, and it's real funny that you mentioned that, fishing, because the cats, they love wet food first thing in the morning, canned food. Now, I mean, understand we only split like between the two of them, between Ralph and George, we only give them a half a can of food a day. We'll cut the can in quarters, and we'll put a quarter of the can in Ralph's and a quarter of the can in George's, and they'll tear it up. But if you wet down their dry food, if you wet down their dry food, if you put gravy on it or put water in it or anything, they won't eat it. They won't eat it. They'll sit there and look at it like, what is this? And what did you stick in our bowl for the day? We bought a bag yesterday because I was out, Tractor Supply, price match, so I show them the online price. They honor it. I say $3 on a 50-pound bag. Primers are still scarce. Well, apparently in certain locations, even black powder supplies are are in real bad shape. Tyler actually got a hold of me the other day and was looking for caps for his 44 and could not find priming caps anywhere for his Civil War pistol. I told him, here we have caps and powder plentiful, but in Iowa he can't find it anywhere. Let me see here. 1960, Mercury Redstone 1A reaches 210 kilometers in a test flight. 1962, street signs in Golden Gate Park approved by Park Commission. And they're still asking $100 per thousand. Wow. 1962, Transit 5A1, first operational navigational satellite is launched. They're not spoiled. They're just used to a certain thing. 19, it's kind of like, it's kind of like eating meatloaf. Once you're used to it being made a certain way, somebody changes up that recipe significantly. Come on, think about it. 1968, WCWB, now WMGT TV, Channel 41 in Macon, Georgia, begins broadcasting. On my way to the ER now to get tested, see if I have chest infection, and see if that's why I'm having problems breathing as well. Because I could have asthma attack. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Get your butt to the hospital. Get a hold of me later. Let me know what they say, bud. 1971, Inner City opens up Barrymore Theater, New York City for 97 performances. Black powder's pretty scarce because GoX stopped making it. There you go. 1971, CBS airs Homecoming, A Christmas Story, introducing the Waltons, one of my mom's favorite shows. 1971, NASA launches Intelsat F4 or 4F3 for ComSat Corp. Guns broker. Get caps on there. I'll let him know. Look, I'll let him know. A Clockwork Orange, 1971, Stanley Kubrick's X-rated film A Clockwork Orange, based on the book by Anthony Burgess and starring Malcolm McDowell, premieres. Kind of ruined my image of Malcolm McDowell after him playing in Planet of the Apes in the 60s. Caesar was just never the same for me after that. 1972, Apollo 17, last of the Apollo moon landing series, returns to Earth, splashing down the Pacific Ocean southeast of Samoa. Buying caps online ain't worth the cost. You have to pay hazmat fees. I didn't know that. I've never bought caps online. I told him if he lived here, you go out and buy 100 can of caps at a time at any of our reenactments because people always have them. 1974, Nelson Rockefeller is sworn in as Vice President of the United States. GoX was bought out, but I don't know if they're up and running yet. 1976, Piper Cherokee plane crashes into Baltimore Memorial Stadium upper stands 10 minutes after Colts lose 40-14 to Pittsburgh Steelers. No one seriously hurt. That's Roddy McDowell. Was it? I need to go back and look. Roddy McDowell, Malcolm McDowell, they're all part of the same clan. 1979, Kramer versus Kramer, directed by Robert Benton and starring Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, is released. Best Picture, 1980. 1980, Raging Bull, directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Robert De Niro as boxer Jake LaMotta and Kathy Moriarty as his wife, is released in the United States. 1980 comedy film 9 to 5 starring Dolly Parton, Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin is released. Yep, caps and primers are dangerous explosives. Are they? But dangerous in whose hands? 1980, Mutual Broadcasting cancels Sears Radio Theater. See, there's been a fair few people killed by primers detonating. Huh. Did not know that. Then again, I'm a consummate trained professional when it comes to explosives. So, 1981, Romuald Spazowski, Polish ambassador to the United States, defects defects to show support for solidarity movement amid a crackdown. Don't store your primers in mason jars. Yes, if you put your primers into mason jars or anything breakable like that, you have just created a claymore. 1984, 33 unknown Bach keyboard works found in Yale Library. 1984, fire at Wiburg Mine in central Utah killed 27 people. 1985, Wind in the Willows opens in Nederlander Theater, New York City for 4 performances. That must have sucked. Several people have been killed that way. 1985, Mary Lunds is the first woman to receive a Jarvik 7 artificial heart at Abbott Northwestern Hospital, Minneapolis. 1985, STS-61C scrubbed at T minus 13 seconds because of SRB auxiliary power problem. 1986, Platoon, directed by Oliver Stone, starring Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, and William Dafoe, is released. Academy Awards Best Picture and Best Director. Yeah, that's a good statement, Jan. That's a good statement. Amazing how many people don't have that thing called common sense. 1986, Michael Sergio, who parachuted into Shea Stadium during the Game 6 of the World Series, sentenced to 100 hours of community service and fined $500. Hey, Katie, good to see you this morning. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're doing well and had a good weekend. 1988, NASA unveils plans for lunar colony and manned mission to Mars. And we've still not accomplished either one. Great planning, guys. $1989, American Airlines purchases Eastern Airlines Latin America route. $1991, 6,000th episode of One Life to Live. There's a lot of lives lived in that show. 1991, New York Yankee pitcher Steve Howe arrested for cocaine possession. Common sense is something that can't be taught. It's oftentimes hard learned. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. 1993, Martian Norman, Bob Merrill, and Jules Stein's fairy tale musical Red Shoes, directed by Stanley Donen, closes at Gershwin's Theater, New York City after 5 performances, loses nearly $8 million. 1998, U.S. House of Representatives votes to impeach President Bill Clinton, forwarding the articles of impeachment to the Senate for a trial. Lots of dumb shit as a kid that made me the adult I am today. Yeah, isn't it amazing how your success is often built on all your failures? Now, when you're building a home, a failing foundation is a terrible thing. When you're building a life, a foundation of failures often holds it stronger than one could ever hope and dream. And it's really funny. People have asked me if I could go back in time and change anything, would I? And I always tell them no, because I wouldn't be the person I am today without all those f ups of the first 45 years of my life. 2007, the Lakota people, a Native American tribe, proclaim independence and withdraw all their treaties with the United States, establish the Republic of Lakota as a separate country. And yes, it is true that they are one of, I think, 3 traditional native groups in the country that have their own passports. 2015 third Democratic presidential candidates debate broadcast by ABC held in Goffstown, New Hampshire. My grandma once told me that if you want to ensure that your life don't cheat on you, or if your wife don't cheat on you, never give her the time to do so. It's true. 2016 U.S. Electoral College votes 304 to 227 to nominate Donald Trump for president over the objections of 7 faithless electors, erections, whatever. The words of a wise woman. Which is really kind of funny because my ex that cheated on me twice at the end of our relationship with the same guy told me, if you don't want your woman to cheat, don't ever give her a reason to. I said, well, what was the reason you did? She said, I got bored. I said, what? What? Did you say you're a whore? What? I didn't understand what you said right there. What? 2018 U.S. President Donald Trump announces victory over the Islamic State and planned withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. But then again, later on, after her and I broke up, I come to find out she had an 18-month cycle. She would stay in a relationship and stay loyal for 18 months, and then start to cheat. She did it to her previous 4 boyfriends. And the guy that she left me for didn't listen to me either. 2019, earliest fossilized trees, 386 million years old, found in a quarry in Cairo, New York. Study published in Current Biology. And that is all, folks. Thank you, Rusty. There was a lot in that today in history. More plays, movie premieres than I've ever seen in any one previously. That was cool. I took grandma's meaning to be have sex 3 to 5 times a day. There you go, Tony. That's one. That's a hell of a way of looking at it. If you don't want your wife to cheat, keep her hip out of place. She can't walk to do it. Really, I left 2 out. Yeah, that's the most plays and movie premieres that we've ever had in a today in history. That is very cool. That is very cool. You have petrified dinosaur poop? Wow. I I can't think of anything to say about that. But that's very interesting. I'd like to know what else is on that shelf with poop. There you go. Send me a picture of your poop. Yeah, rock. I thought it was unusual. It actually is very unusual. I have seen, believe it or not, I've seen somebody on Pawn Stars one time that brought a big, I mean, this thing was like, 13, 14 inches across, probably 6 or 7 inches thick. Um, it wasn't worth near what people thought it was, but it was worth a couple $1,000s. Rock poop. I'll be damned. Man, it's almost 9:30 already. My friend gets it for her crystal business. I I Does she make jewelry out of it? I mean, if she makes jewelry out of it, that would be very, very cool. Make a nice necklace out of it, make a bracelet, you know, just for the sole purpose of when one of her friends say, "Oh my God, that's a beautiful bracelet that your husband got you." You could look at him and say, "Nah, it's a piece of shit." So I flushed a couple of grand a day. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. If I bury it, if I bury it, got a few million years. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to leave a map for your descendants to let them know where you buried their future wealth. There's always someone out there more weird than you. them, it would not be cool. It's still shit. Too hard to work with. Yeah, I mean, professional poo crafting is so hard. My advice is get it while it's soft, make it into little shapes like teddy bears, or even a shitty chessboard, a shitty chess set. Make all your little chess figures out of poop and let it harden and sell it as a petrified poop chess set. Maria, good morning. Hope you're doing well this morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. My piece has a prominent place in the bathroom. Well, there's no better place for your petrified poop than in the bathroom. I mean, no shit. So this chat has went to shit. Yeah, yeah, it has. And Jan, I can't think of a better way to start off this week than talking about your petrified poop. I really honestly can't. I mean, not that most of our live streams have not already gone to shit, but this one here literally, really, honestly, in every example, every frame of the word has literally gone to shit. Years ago, there were pet rocks millions of people bought. Then a year later, bought clothes for them. Make poop people. I agree. I think that would be great. And don't think for a second that people wouldn't pay money for a pet poop. All right, Jay, you take care of yourself. Jan told us earlier you had like 86 runs to do today, and hour and 15 minutes to the first one. Dude, just be careful. Just be careful. But yeah, we will see you tonight. I will be here. I'm not going to miss a live stream this week. So if I'm here now, then I don't see me skipping out on anything else. Because I don't see me feeling much worse than I did 3 hours ago. Wow. Mine is supposed to get minus 37, 21 inches of snow. Yeah, Maria, I was actually saying earlier with this new storm that's coming in out of Canada this week, depending upon, it's supposed to come down across the Great Plains and then make a whoop back up towards the northeast. But depending upon where the warm front from the Gulf hits it at, it's either going to push north across the Great Lakes, and we're going to get feet of snow, or it's going to drop way down low and get hit lower in the close to the Gulf, and we're going to get maybe a foot plus of snow. But they're still talking very cold wind chills. They're talking, if it hits low in the states and makes its swoop back up, they're talking about minus 15-degree wind chills in Tennessee, Kentucky, the Carolinas, Pennsylvania, the Virginias, everything. If it hits higher, then we're going to get it like, we're going to get all those minus 15, 20s and stuff right here across Michigan and the rest of the Great Lakes. So, yeah. Stay warm. Well, my youngest just went to Louisiana for the holiday. Expects me to drive 100 miles to her place to look after her animals every 2 or 3 days. Huh. Huh. Be careful. Stay warm. Definitely so. Definitely so. Hence the free suburban. Yeah. Yeah. Should never run out of poop. Exactly. You'll never run out of poop. It's given to me, I guess. That's what I'm worth. 4th Jan ain't worth shit. Good morning, Laura. Good to see you, love. Hope you're having a good morning so far and had a good weekend. I'm preparing extra wood, extra water, gas for the generator, extra food. I don't blame you. Not one bit. The storm is supposed to go over here directly. Yeah, that's what I was seeing. Was right over Illinois and everything. What part of Missouri? Yeah, we've all got all those things prepared as well. I think Jay said he wanted to split more wood. Oh, you're down there by St. Louis. That's cool. I've been through there a time or two. Been a long time. I bought ground, put a cabin near Poplar Bluff. Well, guys, like normal, there will be a video out tomorrow morning. I've already got it set. Set to premiere early in the morning. I am finishing up the last video before Christmas for Thursday. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty sweet video. It is going to be on the history of candy canes, where they came from, and we're going to join some really special friends of the channel, Bill and Lisa, on their recent trip to Disney World. And we're going to see them hand-making, hand-pulled candy canes. They're going to give you the little secret in case you ever get a chance to go down there. They're going to give you the little secret on how to ensure you can get your candy canes when you go down to Disney World. Because they don't make that many because they're handmade. They only got like 6 people making them. They're not easy to make. And you got to be one of the first ones there on the specific days they make them. They only make them a few days out of the year. And these candy canes, they ain't candy canes. These are candy canes. They're about that big around about as big around as a 50-cent piece, and over 18 inches long. Our porch is full, plus neighbor, tree removal service. Dirt bad, got that. I wanted designing women characters. It's from Poplar Bluff. It'll be about 10 miles north of the bluff. My grandkids just came back from there. I grew up in Perryville. Mountains Wood, that's cool. I'm in Washington. When Mrs. fell in love with southeastern Missouri area, insisted we retire there. It's because your woman's smart. Guys, if you'll excuse me real quick, I'm going to make a run to the outhouse real quick. Y'all just talk real nice amongst yourselves. I'll be back in just a second. Wee wee. Yeah. When the boonies, woods everywhere closed. Yeah, I did make it past 9. You're right. Well, my cabin is back 5 miles of gravel road and half a mile of private lane. Sounds like a dream to me. Sounds like a dream to me. But I mean, I got to be honest. Living in this little tiny village, it's about as close to being in the country as you can be without actually being in the country. You know, 3,000, 3,500 people. And I mean, hell, that's 4 mile or 5 mile or 4 mile by 4 mile plot, 3,500 people. Within the map perimeter of Mark Twain National Forest. And I mean, honestly, the only time you ever see most of the people out and around here is when we have one of our little beach fests down here at the lake during the summer. We do those once a month for what May May through October, and then depending on the band that they have come in to play, you don't even see everybody then. I think our Christmas tree lighting that we have every year is probably the most people from the town you get out. But most of them are just old farmers, so you never see them. They might show up in the morning at the cafe to have coffee and breakfast with their friends. Other than that, there are neighbors neighbors on the top of the hill, but I can't see any of them. Now, see, that was what I liked about Mom and Dad's place in Tennessee. Our nearest neighbor was on the next mountain over. During daytime, you couldn't even see their house. At night, all you could see was a yard light up on top the next mountain over. You have to be out at 5 a.m. to catch the farmers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If they're not working in the fields, if there's nothing that they can do in the wintertime, then they show up about 5 a.m. in the morning to have coffee with their friends, go to McDonald's, go to one of the cafes, do something. But other than that, you ain't going to find them. Around here, farmers are like deer. You got to be out before sunrise to see one, or they don't exist. Jamesburg, where I'm a fireman, is 1 square mile population, 4,000 something. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I like about this little tiny village, is you got to go way outside of town to hit that 3,500. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's there's towns out there smaller. Believe me, I just seen one the other day. They were doing some kind of little news thing on the town. It's an old town. It was established during the 1830s or 1840s, and the entire town has a population of less than 300 people. Around here, most of the farmers head for the warm country in the winter. Oh God, ours don't. Ours don't. If it wasn't for our farmers, there's been there's a there's been a couple of winters. If it wasn't for our farmers, people would have been in a standstill around here. You see more tractors and stuff on the road, either packing the snow down or pushing it out of the way. We have a local farmer that's got a real small, like a bobcat kind of deal, with a little bucket on the front. He goes around and does all the sidewalks in town. It's probably why it don't get done every time it snows. But that's all he does when we get a really heavy snow, because he don't want people to have to go out and shovel. He'll drive his little cat into town and park his trailer up at our grocery store. And all day long, he spends the whole day driving up and down sidewalks, plowing sidewalks. Snow on that 500K John Deere, heaven forbid. Out here at towns and villages date back early 1600s. Yep. And that's one reason I'd like to come out to the East Coast and do some videos out there, actually do some investigations out there during the summer months and stuff, is because you figure, and I was talking to Jan, I mentioned this to Jan yesterday in the comment section of one of her videos. Though we did have people living in the Ohio Valley and the Indiana area and even in Michigan before the 1700s, there was no establishment here. Well, you figure Indiana became a state 1816, Michigan became a state 1817. there are places out east that were organized towns and villages 200 years before that. So, you were finally starting to get your big influx of people right after the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War in the Midwest and other locations, because during the French and Indian War, you had Major Washington, who was a British soldier at the time, um, trying to get the Ohio Valley cleared out. And then, Revolutionary War became General Washington with the U.S. and, was sending troops westward to help clear things out too. So back when I worked, I did all the snow removal on an open cab Ford 555 loader tractor. When I left, they went to a full cab John Deere with climate control. Well, I'll be honest with you, that little cat, um, that little bobcat that guy drives around here can't be all that warm. Because, 2 years ago when we had minus 50-degree wind chills here, now understand this thing's got a hard roof, it's got a hard windshield and a hard back, but the doors are that cheap vinyl stuff. Doggone good and well, that thing is not holding in very much heat, especially when you got 30, 40 mile an hour winds and stuff. And here he is, just going down the sidewalks, plowing the sidewalks out for folks. Jared caught an orb in my latest video. We went back through and looked, and sure enough, interesting. Tombstones all through the Northeast are so old the writing's weathered away. Yep. Now see, we've ran across a few of those here. We ran across a couple Revolutionary War graves, and of course, a multitude of Civil War graves. But yeah. 4 years after I retired, the place closed down. Wow. But yeah, Rusty, out your way, my God, man. There's gravestones out there from 300 years ago. It's nothing but a smooth stone now. The shop was supporting the business, and I was the shop. Very true. Very true. Oh, goodness gracious sakes. Cannot wait. Cannot wait for Saturday night. You guys know I love Christmas. And I especially love getting Santa on video and interacting face to face with him. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. My boss told me he had no idea how many people came to the place because they trusted me. And see, that's exactly how it was with my dad, Tony. He was a service manager for 40 years. And the dealership that he worked at for 40 years closed down a year and a half after he left, because he had built such a clientele that came in just for him to analyze the issues with their car, and him tell the guys what to do, that when he retired, people started coming to him. they'd come they would come straight out to the house. And, we honestly thought that when the old man retired, he'd retire. But it got to the point where he was working 8 and 10 hour days at the house because he wouldn't charge people 60, 70, 75, $80 an hour labor. They might slip him, oh, give me $20 for my time. They might give him 40 or $50, but he charged them for the parts. If they wanted to give him something for his time, he was glad to accept it. If they didn't, which they usually did, because they wanted to keep him. There was a lot of very upset people when they left the state, moved down south. After Jay finishes delivering, I'll have him home for 2 whole days. Woohoo! Woohoo! I think some people back then had their tombstones done while they were alive. Jamesburg has 3 stones, all written on, that never left the houses. They stand in gardens. Wow. Very cool. If I wasn't going to work at home. Well, see, the whole reason he did it at home is because he didn't have a schedule to keep. That's the only reason he did it at home, because he knew that he could say, yeah, I'll do my best to get it done today. If not, midday tomorrow, give me a holler. And, he might have it done that night and be calling them, hey, I got it done. Well, you didn't have to rush on it. Let me see here. Tomorrow's video is our Victorian Christmas heritage. They talk about the creation of Christmas cards. They talk about a lot of our heritage with decorating and stuff that came from the Victorian era, and how a lot of it moved here to the States. Of course, like I said, Thursday's video is going to be on the history of candy canes, how they came about, and then we're going to take that special trip down to Disney World, and we're going to watch candy canes be made by hand. And then we have Saturday night, which is going to be very, very cool. I kept a certain amount of loyalty, I suppose. So, always cool. By that time, I was pretty poor shape. Yeah, it's amazing how many years of doing the same thing over and over and over again slowly but surely wears you down. Oh, if we only had that knowledge as young men, what our bodies were going to be like when we actually hit middle age, because of how hard we worked as young men. I sit here now with the painkillers and the salves and lotions that I put on my knees, and I think, man, if you weren't climbing up and down ladders for 25 years, carrying 150 pounds of shingles on your shoulder, 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day, you might be able to still run instead of walking around all the time looking like you got a candy cane shoved up your Watusi. No kidding. I would have lifted a lot less stuff than I did. Yep. Yep. And when I was younger, I was a workhorse. I loved getting up in the morning. I loved carrying shingles, up and down the ladders. I loved standing on those angles and roofing. Even when I was scared to death and had to put on a climbing harness and run ropes over the top of a house down through a window and nailed off somewhere because the peak. We done some 10, 12 pitches. And if you guys don't know anything about the pitching on a roof, a 10, 12 is about like that. So, you're over here working and you've got a climbing harness on and ropes over the peak going down into a window on the second story or the third story of a house. And you've got like a 4x4 nailed across the window frame with climbing harnesses tied on it. That gets a little scary when you got 3 or 4 guys hanging off of a 4x4. And then when I started doing custom brick, block, and stone, I went from toting shingles to toting rock and cutting rock and forming it and, building custom patios and fireplaces and stuff like that. I go, folks. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. You too, Rusty. You too. You take care of yourself. Hopefully we'll see you in here tonight and catch you again on Friday. But you take care of yourself, and if we don't, have a Merry Christmas. Take care of yourself. Much love, my friend. And we'll catch you later. I did roofing as a kid. Barn roofs. Barn roofs. Don't get me started on barn roofs. I went from an office job to retail sales to cleaning stalls. Don't let it be said that's not hard work too. Went from having to use your head and constantly be on the move to constantly bending over and straining. So not only did you work your brain, you worked your body as well. Don't let it be said that's not tough. I think that was my favorite, Tony. I enjoyed, building steps and stuff for people. But man, when I go out there and I build like a pretty round block patio with like a little, stone burn pit in the center and everything, or I build an outside grill or something for somebody, that's when I really got to stand back and look at my stuff, because you didn't have to look up on somebody's roof to see what I had done. It was right there in their yard for everyone to see. Cleaning stalls was my most rewarding job because oh yeah, definitely. Definitely the horse thing would have been cool. Roofing, Mobile, Alabama in July and August. Welcome to training for hell. Yeah. I remember the last big roofing job I done was about 10 years ago. And it was right here, it was right in northern Indiana. But it was during a heat wave in July heat index was 110, and I was putting a roof, building it from scratch. All these people had was a 70-foot by 12-foot patio on the back of their house, and they wanted a roof over it. And I was out there for 2 weeks straight, framing it, finishing it off, roofing it in 110 plus heat index. So believe me, I remember. But all right, guys, it is that time. It is time for me to be like a fat baby and head out. Time for me to be like a tree and leave. Well, unless you're a, evergreen, and then you just sit there and look retarded. But anyway, it's so hot it could not walk on shingles. Yep. But you guys all have a great day. Enjoy your Monday. We will be on tonight. We will be on tonight. And we'll have some more fun. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but it'll be fun regardless. You guys all take care. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. We'll see y'all tonight. Have a good day, guys.